Welcome back to the ASUS ROG Dreamleague for game number 2 between Alliance and Fnatic. I'm James, he's Andy, and here's the draft. We're too fast.
We went way too fast. It's okay, though.
Wait, here's the draft.
Yeah! All right, cool.
Sorry.
Why do we keep wearing the same color shirts? Like, they're actually not the same, but on camera, they look almost identical.
Nah.
I'm
cold.
just, like,
Are you cold?
It is a bit chilly in here.
Could we have a hugger come and join us out?
I actually just want a Snuggie. Like, you know, this thing.
I want a live human.
That's okay, too, I guess.
Dude, fantastic
Milton,
body heat.
He could totally do that.
I think he's got more important things to do.
Nah.
Like producing the show.
Hugging's good.
All right. So we missed our first 2 bands, but you can catch up. Sorry you didn't get to see the first 2 bands live. I know how some people love seeing
Reddit's
going to
hear about this.
I am probably going to post. Hey, also to mention, by the way, if you've been on Reddit, ESEX, or Esport Express, have posted their Kickstarter, and we're actually one of the stretch goals. Essentially, Hotbid wants to write a Jon Stewart kind of esque daily show, and then we perform X amount of episodes. I'm not sure how it is. I think it's like 10 or something. But we'll see. And, you know, I'm actually meant to be building... Oh, my God.
Don't put a garbage bag on him. How's that meant to keep him warm? I'm so confused right now.
It's working.
It feels like we've actually just been put into the dumpster.
It's not.
Like, this is...
It's not the most fun solution, Milton. I'm wearing a garbage bag. I mean, I know the show's shit and all, but...
I guess there's some kind of, like...
It's fine.
I don't understand.
It's working.
I'm so confused.
My mind's totally on properly. It's like,
dude, mine's more like a cape.
Boiling.
I can see it.
It's ridiculous.
Like, yeah, it's good. All right, so like you were talking about catching up on the bands, it seems like Alliance are really highly prioritizing that Slark pick, and Fnatic are not having any of
they got
the shenanigans this game.
Yeah.
They picked the Doom, which is the ultimate.
Which is like, fuck you, Slark.
Yeah. It's like the ultimate in fuck you, Slark technology, actually. Like, it's really good.
Doom 2000.
The thing is, even with the Doom skill itself being nerfed...
Wouldn't it be cool to add like
but wait a minute. If it doesn't disable passives anymore, do you still heal if you're in fog?
Holy shit, I think you do. Yeah.
So it's not really that good anymore.
Well, you're always going to get an Ags on Doom anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, Slark needs farm.
Not until like a 4th or 5th item, typically.
I think this game would be a lot more interesting. Valve, take note, by the way, like up-and-coming game designer here. If you just put numbers at the end of the heroes, like Doom 2000, Witch Doctor 500, you know,
I thought you were just giving a shout out to Owie there. I didn't know that you were actually like just random numbers.
No, I just think random numbers are the way forward. I mean, the casual viewers would be well into it.
So like TA 430 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, why is Ferrari so popular? I mean, it's worked for him.
Those numbers.
Those numbers, man. Owie, not so much. He went too high. People look at his number and like, you're not 2,000.
Maybe 1,500 on a good day.
1,500, yeah.
Jesus. All right, shots fired all around. But Alliance with a really strong, flexible opening too, I would say. Like, Slark could definitely play, I would say, any stage of the game quite well. Like, he transitions into the late game. His early and mid game is strong. Your hands are gone. I don't know how that's relevant to what I was talking about, but I just felt like I had to say it just so people who at home understood what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But
I'm way too childish to commentate video games. I'm the oldest person in the studio. I'm the oldest person, like, in the whole studio, like DreamHack as well.
Are you actually?
Yeah. I'm older than everybody here.
Wow, I didn't know that. Holy cow.
And yet I get told off the most.
Maturity does not reflect age, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But I think going to last game, like how Alliance played it, like that level of control that they were able to get, I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick Zeus again. Just because even though Bulldog had a really bad start. Think about that. Like, he had a terrible start. But the way that you can pace the game out means that you always are able to buy time to get to the point where you are going to at some point have an advantage.
I just think that if you play against a Doom and you pick Zeus, you're asking for trouble because Doom can just interact so much differently than the Ember, right? It's like once you've got Scorched Earth on and you're not dying and you've doomed up the Slark with Aghanims, you're not scared of anybody. You know, you're literally like, even if they do take me out with, you know, chances are my team's going to wipe them. I'm not sure. I think Doom's just a great pick for Fnatic. Like, I'm happy they got the hero. Big fan. Big fan of Doom.
Big fan of not having control over your hero for an extended amount of time. But Alliance, they take out the Viper, they take out the Razor, so clearly they're looking at these tanky, not necessarily deathball heroes, but ones that definitely can fight during the mid-game, mech buyers, things like that, even though Viper, I think, is less of a mech purchaser now because of the increase in mana cost. You kind of want a point booster and the mech together.
We've seen a lot of... talking about the bans, we've seen a lot of IO first bans in like every single stage of the Dream League.
He's actually, I think, buffed just because of this patch.
How do you know it's a he?
Is that better?
Fair enough.
It is buffed because of the patch. And basically, the early game, I don't want to say it's totally irrelevant, but it's definitely less important, and the team with the stronger draft usually makes a good transition into the mid game after taking just like one good fight, you know? The swing of gold and experience is so massive now, and Wisp gives you that potential to just pick off like high net worth targets or start the fight on your terms, get a good position, and any hero who can give that to you is automatically like better at 6.82 than it was before.
Do you know a hero we haven't seen from support that isn't getting played?
What's that?
It's Shadow Shin.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
Like, you know, it used to be, hey man, we mow down towers.
I'm kind of wondering why that is actually. Because it's not as if he has low damage.
No.
Ether Shock is actually a very high damage nuke. The only thing about him is that he's a little bit level starved. Maybe people are just fighting so much more now that Mass Serpent Wards are a little bit too long of a cooldown to warrant picking the hero unless you can really get to a tower and drop him.
And he doesn't really have a fun way to initiate unless you get a Blink Dagger. And then like you're gold starved. You know, and if you play him mid, there's so many more better mid heroes to play.
And unless you have another hero in your lane with decent like burst or kill potential, it's really hard to effectively zone as a Shadow Shaman solo.
I think like even level 1 Ether Shock is like almost 100 damage, I want to say.
160 or 40 or something like that.
Level 1?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think it's 140.
We need to check that out. Let's get stat
I'm looking.
check. LC has been picked up, by the way, for Alliance. For anybody who wasn't paying attention to the screen, we're here to help
it's 140.
You. 140 at level 1.
Yeah, but it only hits one target. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like it's 1357 or something like that, I think, in terms of targets hit. But as far as the LC goes, it's really nice to be able to press the attack on a Doom target, or even somebody who just gets stunned. Between like press the attack, Slark, Dark Pack, they already have 2 ways to get out of a chain disable, which is neat. And you definitely want to have somebody on your team who can bail the Slark out, because you definitely know that Fnatic are going to be looking at him for like the primary Doom target. LC may be secondary, depending on what else Alliance pick. There could be some other heroes that you might want to think about. But up until now, Fnatic looking like they're actually going to either safe lane or mid the Doom at the very least, which I kind of consider a little bit greedy, because Doom, once he gets level 6, he kind of functions in the same way for quite a while, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't necessarily evolve that much as a hero unless you get to, like, the super late game stage where you're 6-slotted. And then you're, like, that unstoppable tank with, like, BKB, Blink, Shivas, really scary. But for a long time, he kind of just walks in, dooms his target, and you fight. That's it. That's what you do.
And this is
all strength melee team.
Yeah.
Like, Fnatic are actually just looking at every strength melee hero. This is like really, really old school Dota, where you only had like the Sentinel and
you
Scourge
just go
taverns.
Bristleback off lane now. It's fine. No, you don't do that. But Bristleback is another target that you want to doom. But it's also nice having many doomed target, you know, like, so they don't just focus one.
Yeah.
Hey, also to mention, it's quite important. Do you think Legion Commander's kind of piercings are very combat ready? Because she has a nose piercing. And I'm just thinking, if I'm going into battle, I don't want anybody being able to kind of grab onto anything and like, you know, rip out my nose piercing or something.
Well, it's not as if she has hair everywhere, you know. I mean, a nose piercing is actually quite hard to grab onto. Most of them are just like little rings, you know.
Yeah, but it is a ring.
And you would have to get something like really in there, you know. You'd have to like grab it and then pull.
Yeah. I mean, Witch Doctor's even worse. Like, that's easier to grab onto. He's got like a whole...
That's like handlebars.
Yeah.
You just walk up and you just grab him by the nose and you just freaking throw him over your head or something.
Yeah. It just reminded me, you know, I'm not sure, because my mate had nipple piercings, And I was like, but what if you get in a fight? And he was like, well, I'm not exactly going to tell him, oh, by the way.
In case you were wondering.
Yeah. But then from that sentence, when I realized that I said my mate had nipple piercings, then I was like, well, maybe he shouldn't be my mate anymore.
I don't know anybody who actually...
He was a bit of a dick, actually.
I mean, wouldn't that just be way too much pain for the aesthetic purposes? I mean, I'm okay. Like, a tattoo is fine, right?
I don't know what it offered him, really. Yeah.
It's kind of bizarre. But
if I was in a fight with him, he wouldn't have nipple piercings. He wouldn't have nipple piercings by the end of it. That's all I'm saying, Andy.
Just thinking about that is like the...
I'm just saying, if you're going to come to battle, I'm not sure Legion Commander should have that nose piercing.
And you know what? She always talks about outsmarting people. Because if she can't outfight them, she needs to outsmart them. But she's wearing, like, jewelry. I don't know, man. Seems fishy to me. Maybe she needs new lines. But Alliance going for the Invoker now, on top of everything else. I want to say that's probably going to be Quaswex. I mean, these heroes, like Doom, Tide, Timber, 3 heroes who potentially could make Arcane Boots, but if you EMP them, they're kind of useless, to be honest. It's like one of those things where you kind of like delay the fight a bit.
And you can catch them as well.
Yeah, the alternative is going Exort and just saying, well, now we have some pushing potential, whereas before we had really bad push.
Like, I used to be a huge fan of Quaswex. I was like, it offers so much in team fights. But when the team at this, like, a pro level, are so good at just avoiding, it's very hard to actually be effective as a Quaswex in pro level games. I feel like I find that to be the case. In pub games, Quaswex, I think like, yeah, it's awesome, you know, because everyone's just mindlessly chasing someone. But I think Exort's the way to go here. Fnatic are going to pick up Faceless Void, and he's going to open up a fresh can of Monster.
Not open that quietly, no matter how hard I tried.
You could probably hear on the stream through both our microphones.
I tried so hard to not open that loudly, but unfortunately the can was having none of it. But this is interesting to me from Fnatic because the only real, like, the overlap, I guess you could say, between like Tidehunter ulti and Faceless Void is really strong. And holy crap, James. I'm actually going to let you solo cast this game now, just from the perspective of the silencer.
Hey, Misery's playing it. All right, Misery.
Misery's legit, man.
Yeah, he is. He's
not
really good. No, he won't let me down. Hey, man, he's like, oh god, there was like this Reddit thread about like showing all the old school like pictures, and there was Misery in there. I just forgot. Like, oh yeah, I was like, oh yeah, Misery used to be in like all these old school teams, and he's been around for a while. He's definitely come back in a strong way. I think a lot of people kind of forgot how good he was, and then he came back on his Bane last season of the Dreamleague.
Oh my God, so many sick plays.
Yeah, and since then, even on that Earthshaker last game, he's been great. Like he's not had a hard time. And I'm happy to see, 8mother in the team of Alliance as well. But he's one of these players that has potential, will catch up, will learn, and he's going to offer more on a game-to-game basis. So Alliance definitely looking like they could have a strong 2015, but already they're 1-0 up, and they're having a pretty good 2014. And they had a top 4 finish, I believe, at Star Ladder, 4th place.
Yeah. I mean,
which is like the teams that were at Star Ladder.
All the teams were at Star Ladder, basically. Like anybody outside of Chinese.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, everybody was represented in the Western scene. But as far as this draft goes, like as a guy who plays Silencer a ton, but like from my perspective, what I think is you get free duel wins with this team because you can global off the duel, and you can Skywrath ulti off the duel, and Sunstrike off the duel if you go Exort.
And also, it's even just fantastic at throwing it on top of a Chrono. Because the Chrono doesn't necessarily mean like there can be no follow-up damage, but he's got a lot to think about as a silencer in this game. You've got the Death Ward, he's also got a Timbersaw staring him down, and Crit I think has boots. He's very, very fast. No, he doesn't have boots. He's just really fast anyway. But yeah, Misery actually, he went for an extra tango, saved 100 gold. He did the build, like the items I do at the beginning, but I actually to get one less branch and pick up a mantle because Silence is very good at zoning people out when you have a high amount of intelligence. But of course, he hasn't checked out my YouTube channel. Misery
you have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't. I actually used to have a YouTube channel, and then YouTube deleted it.
Wow.
I know, right? They were just like...
You must have pissed off the wrong person.
I don't know why they deleted it. I went to look at one of my funny videos, kind of like, just narcissistically look at myself, and then I wasn't there anymore. I was like, oh, they deleted me. All right, so Ake's going to be top on the Skywrath Mage. He's going to be joined by the Slark, which is going to be played by Loda. Middle, Currently blocking is going to be 8 Mother. Interesting to see how his Invoker plays out. Admirable Dog on the offlane. And I think dual offlanes is a fantastic with a Silencer because you really actually still offer even versus tri-lanes. And I hope he goes for Curse of the Silent build versus the offlane.
Misery being the human ward,
Yeah.
he's actually standing on the magic bush to make sure nothing spawns. And I really like this call too, like not only because of what you said, but because this is a greedy, greedy draft from Fnatic. I mean,
Hey, you
safe
got
lane
Doom and
farming
jungle,
Timber,
man.
jungle, Doom. And then, I mean, offlane Tide isn't necessarily greedy, but I mean, when you know you're up against a Skywrath, it's going to be pretty tough to do much of anything. And Crit's going to be taking quite a bit of damage here and harassment. Throws out the
gonna have
cast.
to run back.
Honey
He's
coming
gonna
in.
die.
It's going to be a Whirling Death. 1 or 2 more auto attacks should get him the kill. He does not have the salve. Bulldog coming in wants to try to at least trade for a bit. Gets the overwhelming odds off, and he's just going to fall back. But not a good trade at all, actually, from Misery.
Yeah, last word, level 1 actually does incredibly low amount of damage.
It's 150 at level 1. That's insane.
Is it?
What do you mean
I didn't
low
remember.
damage?
Is it 100? Is it 150?
It's 150
oh, okay,
damage.
Yeah. I thought it was 50. I didn't even play the hero anymore. I was just like, okay, level 1's fine. Don't level it
How
anymore.
are you higher MMR than me?
Because I'm just so pretty. My team tries very hard when I play the game.
Give up, man.
For some reason, I thought it was 50, and I've been playing Silencer for like 200 games straight. I don't know why I thought that. Don't level up anymore, though, right? Because if you get 2 points into the curse, you actually get an incredible amount of mana drain at 16 per second, and that really will piss off like Crit. Because I don't think toggling his heal gets rid of it, because it's not cast as a spell. So do it, Misery. I'm actually sorry. I'm like Pyrian Flax when they pick Lynch, you know what I mean? It's like everyone in the audience is like,
Oh, wow, Arise.
He's okay.
going ham here on 8 Mother. He's going to invoke the Cold Snap. Still taking some tower shots here. It's going to be an Exort Invoker, by the way. And I think it was obvious that it would be Exort after the LC pick. That's like the big thing to me that says, yeah, if you have Sunstrike and Mystic Flare together, you should always win your duels, like no matter what. And plus, the push potential is nice. They have 2 melee cores, like LC and Slark together. That kind of means that most of the time your early like tier 1 pushing isn't going to be great, especially when you're up against like Timbersaw, Tidehunter, Doom, other like tanky heroes who can just peel the creep wave off the tower. But if you have Forge Spirits out, then suddenly your push becomes a heck of a lot more potent.
Yeah, the push gets definitely something. Ace is having a pretty bad time with 0 last hits. For Fnatic and their offlane, and he's been zoned out. Skywrath's fantastic at that. I actually think Misery is playing this a little bit too defensively on the lane. I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive and pick up those boots as quickly as possible, and he's gone for glaives. This is nice versus Timbersaw, but it's not so great versus the Witch Doctor. You're not going to make much happen for it, but you can actually put out some decent damage versus the Timber and get rid of his regen, but that's really only open up to the farm to the Legion Commander, but the Legion Commander's falling behind, and I think if Misery was in lane a lot more, actually pressuring, even though the Legion Commander would be behind on levels, would be matching the farm with Hani pretty easily.
Yeah, you know what else is kind of crazy? Is Arise is more than doubling the CS of 8 Mother. Void versus Exort Invoker middle lane. But bottom, we might see a first blood here. Misery taking quite a bit of damage, and Timber Chain's going to go out. He wants to at least kill Hani before he goes down, but he's not going to be able to. And Rise secures that kill. I guess that's the one weakness of Silencer, is that if push comes to shove and you start like having to man fight, most of the time you actually won't win.
Yeah.
You want to draw out the laning phase and like them and stuff like that.
Yeah. You literally, if you can just like cause their lane to have a really shit time in terms of regen, that's when you start shining at like level 3, 4, and 5. You don't shine at level 2 at all. Like level 2 that's meant to be getting rid of the regen, not going for kills. And Misery, I'm gonna forgive him. Like I checked like what my rank is at Silencer the other day after I finished playing. I'm ranked 140th in the world at Silencer apparently. Band score's still number 1, but I'm going to take him down.
He doesn't play Silencer that much.
I know, right? He's a disgrace to the Silencer guild. Anyway, sorry. Let's not have personal stories about Silencer the whole game. But speaking of Silencer, no. Void's doing really well mid, yeah. 22 last hits is insane versus the Invoker. He hasn't even had any chance to pressure.
Though. The last couple of waves, 8 Mother's actually been doing some work. But that's what you get when you get the 3rd point in the XR, right? Like your base damage goes up pretty significantly. Like 92 damage at level 5 is pretty nuts.
Run, Misery.
I think he's dead again, actually. Does Rise have an overbend him? No, he doesn't. He may be able to walk away from this.
He has to stay in the center of the lane here so he doesn't get Timber Chain.
He's dead. He walked too close to the right tree. But I mean, either way, it would have been difficult. Bulldog's got a double damage, though. He wants to try to make something happen here.
It's going to get last hits, at least.
I don't know. This is a really bizarre kind of turn of events because you would have said at the beginning, it seems like, yeah, okay, well, this lane is...
I would have been so happy. Like, that lane for me, like, if you were Silencer on that lane and you had a Doom in the jungle and you're playing 2v2, I'd be like, I'm going to shit on this lane.
Yeah.
And you should shit on that lane. You really
so you
should.
think the point in the glaive is actually hurting him a lot more?
Yeah, like last word level 1 is okay, but you want to get level 3. You want to like eat some of your carry's experience, and so you can actually get your carry farm. And getting level 3 and 2 points into Curse of the Silent with 1 point into last word is perfect.
Oh, Sphere.
And Misery is dead again.
Yeah.
He's going to have to give me an apology.
Oh, the Timber Chain doesn't go through the Sphere, so he didn't deal any damage. That was actually quite funny, but Arise gets that kill, no big deal.
We were just praising Misery before the game as well.
I mean...
But it's okay. You can bounce back. You can really bounce back on this because it's like the Invoker can still just catch up. He's going for Midas. He's got 860 gold. He's actually looking to maybe get ganked here, so he's got to be careful. The Tide is above him. He's not level 6. He's level 4, but it might be enough. Arise can jump in, and that will slow him enough. I'm not sure. Yeah, they're going to get this.
Yep, 2 points in the Gush. Wow, the Bash Lord is real.
This is Fnatic just going ham on Alliance. Like, they have no breathing room apart from Loader. And Loader is actually 38 last hits and 20 denies, so he's doing fantastically. He's got his Midas flying in. But yeah, Ake is good on the levels too. It's a toughie, but it's definitely they can bounce back.
I think a lot of it's going to just be level dependent for them. Like, Bulldog hits 6, Skywrath hits 6, the Invoker throws out a Sunstrike. You can secure a lot of kills with just that combination. And even though Fnatic have very, very tanky heroes, between those 3 things, I don't think anybody can live without, outside intervention, right? Like somebody ravages for you or a sphere gets dropped or something. But, I mean, yeah, the comeback potential is real, but right now it's not great.
Not going in their favor. Arcane Boots finished up on Hani as well.
Oh no, Misery, he put a second point in the glaive.
No, but this is like, if you're doing this build, you have to rotate round and be very available for all the team fights. Because if you're going to max glaives, you need power treads. And it's okay, because like you only get 50 damage per point, I think, in your last word. So let's not bang on too much about that. I think it's 50 damage per point, yeah. That's why I think 50. See, I got confused. It was a brain fart. Misery gonna maybe go down here. Nope. Admiral Bulldog is gonna take the rune. Not sure which one it was. It looks like he's hasted now. Okay, he's got DD. And he's got Jewel available.
Yeah, they can kill Arise quite easily.
I think to get Arise, or he's gonna get lucky here. Just pops the DD. No, he's not going to get him.
Yeah, the other thing is, too, is that there were golems there, so it wouldn't have given him the extra damage on the overwhelming odds. Or wait, does it still give you the damage even if the target's magic immune? Like on the person that you actually do hit? I don't know. I'm curious to see how actually that interacts. But
maybe Weapons will tell us.
He's just going to head back
He's
down
good at
bottom.
losing commanders.
Dude, whenever I lose to a jungle LC, I just want to quickly. Well, Bulldog going in. He gets the cask stun here. He's going to get the duel off, but it might be a little bit too much damage. He does make it through thanks to the Sunstrike of 8 Mother coming in from middle lane. And that's some serious confidence in your teammates when you throw out that duel. You were already behind. You're going to see a Doom go off. Top lane, Loda. That Midas, fortunately for him, it's on cooldown right now because he just used it.
Fates has caught out quite nicely on the farm after that fight. He's actually up to 1,000 gold. We've got 2 Midases on Alliance, so playing for the late game, which is very fine.
Sphere.
Admiral Bulldog going to get caught in Arise's Sphere, and nicely timed there from Crit, just going to throw a cast just as it ends, and Misery going to bail it and TP back to base. And they're going to need to get... they've actually got their second set of wards out, Alliance.
He just needs to be careful. That's a level 5 Skywrath Mage. The damage is really, really high on this. Sunstrike going to be coming out. 8 Mother secures that kill. And those Sunstrike kills are actually huge because not only does he have the Midas, but all the experience that you get from Sunstrike kills for an Exort Invoker especially, like you want to get level 9 ASAP. And he's going to have it, I think, at just around the 10-minute mark if he's able to get like one more wave.
Let's check the levels right now. He's level 8, and yeah, he's up there. Him, Slark, and... also, the Void are going to share that. So far, I've been impressed by the Chronos. They've secured themselves kills as Loda also gets another one. But Arise has been doing work for Fnatic on that Void mid. Like, he's got an incredible amount of farm, and his rotations have also got him kills. So This Void could potentially be quite scary just as a core Void. And we're going to have a duel.
Sunstrike coming through.
Loader's going to come in.
Nicely
Pick
done.
2 back-to-back duel wins on an LC that was struggling in his lane against a Timber.
Yeah.
Like this Exalt Invoker is doing work. And then you've also got Ake who's going to start coming in. And the cooldown on duel is so low. Like there's no reason that they're going to have to stop. Like we got a bottle on Admiral Bulldog. He's pretty healthy. Ace is going to chase. Not going to want to chase any further than that. He does have Ravage available. And yeah, Duel's going to be up in 15 seconds. And with Skywrath there, that's another kill. You know, a Duel doesn't get dispelled by, what's it called? Like Kraken Shell.
No,
Obviously.
definitely not.
So it's like the Tide can go down, and the Tide normally feels quite safe. And, you know, you can see Ace is kind of positioned quite
Oh, they want to kill
aggressive.
him, though. They do have Ravage. Global Silence is going to come out. The duel comes through. Sunstrike's there, and the Mystic Flare. Hani, he actually walks on top of him, but still gets the duel win, even though the Mystic Flare damage was split. Bulldog going to be trading his life here.
That's fine.
Crit looking at it go.
You win the duel. And the Ravage was used. I mean, Global Silence was used, but in the early stages of the game, the cooldown is like not so bad, and you're not expecting big team fights. So it's like, yeah, you've only got 100 seconds left. And they've also done a really good thing, which is leave Misery alone on a lane. So they've rotated Loader, and just leaving Misery here, it's like, even if Misery dies, doesn't matter. If like Rise wants to Doom in and they run him down, it's fine. Like,
Is he going back for a -2?
I hope he's just getting his treads, but he's actually got
He has more than enough. He has enough for a TP and finishing his treads, and he hasn't bought it.
He hasn't bought it. So if Misery goes Midas, I'd be surprised. But it's also like Alliance, maybe late games where they want to play.
Yeah, but look at Fnatic's team. How do they actually push with those heroes? That's my primary concern, because, yeah, their team fight's strong, but you have to really smash a fight to push a tower with that team, right? I mean, you have Tidehunter, Doom, Witch Doctor, Timber, awful pushers. Void, a little bit less so because he does damage.
Yeah, they do want to fight. I mean, you've got Mask of Madness on. In the mid, going to have a Chrono on Ake.
He did.
And that Sunstrike actually chips away half of a Rise's health. Mask of Madness, yeah, it suggests you want to fight. You want to actually use this Void around the map aggressively, because Mask of Madness is amazing at chasing heroes that are trying to disengage and amazing at engaging. You know, it's like you can really catch heroes out in terms of your positioning. So it's a really good item just if you have a Void offlaner. Mask of Madness still works, but he's done great. I mean, what's the Void stats right now? 8 Mother. It's currently 3-0-1.
You mean a Rise?
A Rise, sorry.
Yeah.
8 Mother's the Invoker. Oh, how I mix them up. They look so alike if you ever meet them.
Well,
he's going for Midas.
Having a Rise and Rise in the same team is also kind of it's a tongue twister sometimes. Yeah, but I think the Midas or Misery is actually going to be fine, because, again, Fnatic's team, while it might be pretty scary in terms of how much fighting potential it has,
it doesn't take down towers quick, as you mentioned.
You can't restrict the map, you know? Like, all your ultis are fairly long cooldowns. The Sphere is going to be the one that's going to be up the most. And at that stage in the game, like when a Rise gets to 16 and has like 2 or 3 items, that's when it's going to start to get a little bit sketchy for Alliance, because after those kills, you can push because your damage is going to be a lot higher. But for now, it's like, yeah, no big deal. We slow it down a bit, try to make some stuff happen. Ace has Ravage up, throws out the Sunstrike, does hit onto Ace. One more nuke here, and a Global Silence comes out. A Rise, Sphere on cooldown regardless, but Rise, on the other hand, he wants to try to get a Doom off. Ice Wall's going to be dropped. Bulldog coming in, does not have a Blink Dagger, and he wants to try to get a duel, but unfortunately, that Doom is going to be a little bit too fast.
But Ravage is down for Fnatic, and they lose their Tide, and they don't get the kill on the Invoker. So, you know, these Ravages haven't been fantastic. They've used 2, and they've traded on 1, didn't trade on the other. Loader's going to find Rise as he backs off, and predicted he goes into jungle. Nice stomp, and he's just going to walk it off. And that Midas going to stay available for a little bit. And on the top lane, Misery's going to go down. Has finishes Midas, and that death doesn't really matter, but they didn't use anything apart from a death ward, so it's just a clean pick off, and you know, only makes you a little bit more concerned about the Void going into the later stages. But the mid tower here for Fnatic getting chipped away at. We have a TP coming in from the Void, who didn't use a Chrono, and it is available. Mask of Madness down, and they're just going to push the enemy back. But no Ravage, no Global Silence here. But Jewel is up, and we haven't seen Admiral Bulldog kind of look actively for kills. He actually rotated in mid where he was looking to defend, and it'd be interesting to see if they can do something together. And Ake and Admiral Bulldog heading down bottom. They will have a Timber sword down there, but They need Ake to stay hidden, and they're going to have to open up on him with a silence. But there's a long lane ward on the safe lane for the team Fnatic, so they know when Ake actually shows his face, and they'll probably just back away with Hani. And the smoke on the top lane.
I guess they might be able to find Loda, but Loda is still kind of a hard kill. If he gets a good Dark Pact and he's able to fog, oh, the smokes are going to break. They know he's here. Loda's going to walk into him. The Doom actually not, it didn't
Just
go through.
Misery. It's fine.
Yeah, they're going to get him. Cast goes through, but not going to bounce to Loda because of the Shadow Dance. They might be able to kill Ace. He does not have Ravage. They know the Doom is down as well, but there's no more TP reaction coming in from Alliance. So instead, bottom lane, going to see a Sphere. Bulldog taking quite a bit of damage here. Press the attack used.
Really nice by Hani.
Yeah, and I guess the there was a TP from Alliance top, right?
Yeah, it was Skyref, it was Ake. That's where they went. They actually had vision bottom on both Ake and Admiral Bulldog, and I think they saw the TP from Ake going top, and that's why they went in to initiate. They had that long lane ward. So just good awareness here from Fnatic. That ward is, has done work for him, and certainly has kind of reduced the threat of Admiral Bulldog or anybody on the
Mother just smashing crit with a cold snap and a couple of Forged Spirits and a book 1. That actually secures his Necro book 2 at just 16 minutes in. So once he gets the third one, that opens up Roshan. You can buy a medallion if you want on any of the heroes on the side of Alliance, and you'll be able to kill that or even just solo it if you're 8 Mother, which is also very nice. And the tier 1s are going to be falling in quick succession, I would imagine. Like having this kind of potential to kill towers this early on.
I think they're going to take a fight here, top Fnatic.
I mean, they got global as well.
Yeah.
8 Mother has a haste. Okay, they're actually standing right on top of each other.
Yeah, but there's a blink. There's a blink dagger.
Ward there too.
There's a blink dagger Ravage, and I don't think the global necessarily needs to come out straight away.
Oh, Rise actually war stomps him. They're going to blink on top of him after the stomp and Ravage. The global's a little bit too late. 8 Mother still hasted for a few more seconds. Gets a deafening blast on 3. Mystic Flare is going to be there as well, and another nuke coming onto Ace. It's going to be a 1-for-1. Invoker for Tide. Rise actually almost dropping here as well. Will do so. Loda, he wants to get out. 1 second on the leap, but the bash. He leaps into a Rise. Very nice movement from the Void. Hani trying to run away here from Misery inside of the woods. 1 more second on last word. Should be able to fog this quite easily.
I think even if he gets last worded,
yeah, he's okay now.
Yeah. Even Soul Ringed and can just tango up.
That was such a good initiation from Fnatic because they just stomped 8 Mother and then Blink ravaged on top of him, so he had no chance to really do much.
Misery had no way to react to that. Like, that was a fresh Blink. Like they brought it on the side shot. The initiation, as you mentioned, was good on 8 Mother, and then they actually caught out more. So definitely deserve the kills there, Fnatic, and using the first Blink Dagger on the Tide Hunter to full effect. And very nice by Arise getting in front of Loda for the leap or the pounce.
Yeah, the bash helped too. I think if he didn't bash there,
he would have probably got away.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to get in front of him.
He had Mask of Madness as well, but the pounce would have gotten away. You're right. And he's going BKB on his Void. Probably doesn't want to eat Cold Snap into death, because I think a Cold Snap against a Mask of Madness.
Well, if you get dueled without BKB, you're dead. Yeah. Like, that's really the problem. 8 Mother going for a dive here onto Ace. The creeps are just tanking the tower more or less. More TP's coming in. Oh, Bulldog, he's going to realize his mistake here in just a second. He's going to die.
No.
He's going to get the damage, though. First off, Arise doesn't have enough mana for his Sphere right now. He's 10 short. He's not able to cast a crit, dying under his own tower. Loda and the Shadow Dance just going to town on him. Arise actually stuck completely mana burned out. Ake gets that kill. Cold Snap onto Rise. And 8 Mother actually gets doomed up here, but he should be fine. Walks away. Might actually need to deny because of the earn damage. I don't think anyone from the side of Alliance is going to be able to do it. Crit, dying under the tower again. And now Ace blinks to the side and just TP's out.
I think Ace actually bought back. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think anybody bought back.
Okay.
No,
check the team fight recap of that fight in terms of if you,
Yeah, big win for Alliance for sure. A little bit of gold
loss. A lot of
XP
XP on the supports as well.
But look at Alliance too, like 3 Midases. Misery, 8 Mother, and Loda all have Midases. So any fight like that, and you lose a tier 1 is like 10 times worse if you're Fnatic.
Definitely worth going, I think, Ags as well on the silencer this game.
Yeah.
Burn everybody out. I think if you're just going that direction,
well, heck, just having the Necro book on the Rise, he couldn't use his ult.
Yeah.
Like, he had it, what, 10 seconds on cooldown, and then he got mana burned, and that was it. It's not really much else you can do. And now, again, this opens up Rosh. The 2 tier 1s are dead in middle and bottom. So reacting to Roshan is a lot harder, and all they have to do is smoke.
I'm concerned that Fnatic need to take a good fight with Chrono and also the Ravage, and they need to do it now with a smoke. I really hope they're bringing a smoke out on that courier. I don't know if they have one, but they're pushing out the mid lane. Unfortunately, they kind of like, there's a lot of vision on the middle of the map, so it's... Did they have, is that a smoke they brought out? But Roche is going to go down pretty quickly. No, they're just going to rotate
They're pinging
over.
it out.
Yeah.
I mean, they know something's going on, so they're moving their way over here. The Necro
But they can make something good happen. They have
everything.
Yeah.
The one thing about this is that if Misery's global timing is good...
Oh, they do know. They just dinged it. That was a ding from Witch Doctor.
Man, this is really slow, actually, for Mate Mother. He's low HP, too. He has to global now. He has to global now. He stops the Chrono Sphere from coming out. Bulldog wants to kill Hani, but they're actually going to try to go for a rise inside of the pit. Instead, there's no Sphere. The timing for Misery is too good. The Sphere stopped completely. Here comes a Ravage. It's going to hit on two, but I'm not really sure if they're going to be able to get a kill off of this. Mate Mother does end up going down, and a rise bot back. He teleported to the tier 2. He's on his way back to the team fight. And they're actually going to be able to get Roche. All right, that did not look like it was that good, but now there's going to be a solo sphere onto Misery inside of the river. The Age is secured by Hani. Misery going to be dropping here. One more Urn and an auto attack from Arise will get that kill. So what turned out to...
Yeah, one of the big things was actually Loda jumped in and pounced and missed crit.
Yeah.
So he actually went just flying past the Witch Doctor at the start of the fight, and that could have been a quick kill on the Witch Doctor. The global was great. That was mid-animation and helped him actually secure the kill onto Arise. But a quick buyback, Mask of Madness, to get back into the fight. Arise was there very, very quickly, and the Ravage, it was good. It forced Alliance away. It was just about enough of what they needed. But I think Void, the buyback, was the X factor there. They didn't have much to do after. You have a duel and you have a global silence, and they're your two kind of big teamfight ultis, But I wouldn't really say that Ake dropping Mystic Flare is like really a teamfight ulti, but
yeah, but it's a lot of your damage.
It was used, and they didn't get what they needed out of it. So they weathered the storm a little bit, killed the Void, but lost the Aegis.
Smoke up here. He doesn't know. He's probably going to end up losing his Aegis. He does Timber Chain back to the tree. Here comes the duel. Sunstrike and the Mystic Flare both coming down. There's just no way to live through that. Yeah,
he's definitely dead.
No way.
He got the Aegis too, so he's going to pop back up.
I don't know, that like...
You still get the jewel though, don't you?
It just really feels weird to me that you commit so much to buying back, and then you go back into the Roshan pit to get the Aegis so Alliance don't get it, and then you immediately lose your Aegis. It's like, well, that suddenly wasn't that great.
What would you build on Timber, Hani, in this game? You've got a Bloodstone, 6 charges. I mean, and you're up against a very...
Blade Mail's not that bad, to be honest.
I mean, what about Shiva's?
Like, BKB is good, Shiva's is good. He could even decide to go for, like, bots.
I think BKB is a pretty huge item, but, like, BKB is a huge item in terms of, like, stopping the Invoker and maybe the Skywrath doing a lot of damage, but actually Misery going for that Axe, you can use it after BKBs, and still interrupt spells. So... And if your Timber can't move in fights or can't cast, he doesn't right-click, so he kind of negates him.
I think in terms of like when the global has to be used, you actually dictate when Alliance global. Because when Arise goes in, that is ideally when you global, and you should always be able to save your BKB until after that is used, So you actually set the term for when the global silence is actually needed to be used by Alliance. But
Brown Boot Gaming for Alliance. Yeah, but also the Death Ward. You have to care for that. Nice blink there from Rise.
Global silence. No follow-up going to be coming out. 4 staff away. Looks like we're going to see, the ulti passive actually does work with Doom on, but they're going to find a Ravage and kill Ake pretty much straight after the fact. Can Loda actually juke this? Oh, nope. No, he can't. Definitely not.
That Death Ward was actually blocking him as well from escaping. Nicely done by crit.
Death Ward doesn't have a...
No, it doesn't. No,
it doesn't. You can walk through it. But he actually got Coconut stunned anyway. So.
I thought he did. Would be way cooler, Ice Frog, if it did.
Would be kind of situationally good, yeah. That would be kind of cool.
So the game plan for Alliance, it feels like, again, you're kind of farming for that late game. I mean, you obviously have 3 Midases, so it's pointless saying otherwise, but it's like they can easily die to Dooms, of course. Doom is pretty huge here, and they actually had to chase quite a lot to get Loda to stop the passive from kicking in. I think that was a ding from Alliance. Maybe dinging if there could be a ward there, but there isn't one. And we have Jewel available. Just
There's no
good
Ravage.
club.
I don't see why they don't go for this. Yep, Bulldog wants to go in, gets a duel off on Hani straight away. The Mystic Flare to follow that up. That's free damage. 86 damage now on Bulldog. Off to the left-hand side, we're going to see Rise going to town, and 8 Mother gets that kill pretty much no problem. They're going to turn around now. They want to kill Rise. Easily done. Loda actually secures that kill. And now Crit is on the move. He's like, I don't want to be here anymore. This is no longer my happy place. And Bulldog actually getting a little creep locked here, but Loda able to blink in, gets the leash off, and Crit will be falling here. 8 Mother.
The dead invoker gets it. I was watching that.
Yeah.
I was like, who's going to steal? Ags was really close to being finished, by the way, by the Switch Doctor. I'm not sure how much room he's going to get on the map going into the later stages of the game. It's because this duel with the blink now on the Admiral Bulldog, which he's had for a little while, is just a little bit too much of a scary factor. It feels like the Witch Doctor's going to have to kind of contribute to team fights as opposed to being able to farm. And they're even looking for more. Jewel's even available now after that fight on the bottom lane. So
yeah, it's only a 50-second cooldown, so.
So Rise is... they don't have vision on him. In terms of ward placement, everyone's very concerned in just who's crossing the map in the middle. You can see both the Radiant and Dire wards pretty much just litter the river here.
Well, the thing with Alliance's team is that they can actually play both styles. They can go aggressive because if you have Global up and you have a duel and Ake is there, it's like, boom, free kill. You know, you only need to move 2 heroes. That's the kind of strength that Alliance have right now. And Fnatic can do the same to a certain extent with the Void. But the Void had to go BKB right after Mask of Madness, so his second damage item isn't even completed yet, which means that right now, he's actually not as big of a threat as he could be, and they really rely on having Hani and Ace and a Tidehunter there too, who, by the way, Ace is going to have Refresher kind of soon, which is pretty scary.
I don't know how he's recovered so well. I think it's like the fact he didn't die on that bottom fight under the tier 1 tower. It was big for him.
Death Ward does block, apparently.
Huh?
Death Ward does block, apparently. I thought it didn't.
Who told you that?
Fogged. He messaged me, said I was...
Thank you.
I thought it didn't. I could have sworn that it didn't.
I thought it did, because I remember like when I play and people chase me defensively, I'll block them in with it.
Oh, duel, middle lane, Ace, right into a Mystic Flare. Boom, shakalaka. Easy.
Okay, so this Void is needing to get damage items, as you mentioned. Doesn't have damage items, has a BKB.
Yeah.
Loda has a Skadi. He's not easy to kill. So everything needs to come from the Doom. Essentially, like, the target that's doomed needs to die. And from there on, the team fight needs to go in your favor, which is why, you know, you've got BKBs coming out. But how, like, I feel, again, like the team fight in the late game for Alliance is so strong.
It is. The Doom is actually not as impactful as I think Fnatic wanted it to be. Might have to hold that thought, though. Rise goes in looking for a spear, decides against it.
Rise, what are you doing?
He could have got 8 Mother, but, I mean, Bulldog was kind of nearby. You don't know if the duel is actually off cooldown. It wasn't, but it was very close to being. So.
No, they're stealing stacks. How rude.
Yeah, but I really think that the Doom itself, like...
Why is Admiral Bulldog's... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Why does he have Hyperdong at the end of his name?
Hyperdong. Because he is the Bulldog. I mean, his actual name is Dan's Game. Like, he's not even named Bulldog anymore. It's just Dan's Game.
Okay.
He only speaks in memes, basically.
I'm not keeping up with these young pro gamers.
It's okay. We know you're busy. Or at least I do. Maybe other people just think you sit at home all day on the couch and just do nothing. But I know you, James.
Thank you, man. All right, Ace will actually get his stack here. I still think Alliance are in the lead in this game. Tell me how Fnatic are going to have to take the team fights, because I don't see it. Like, I'm confused apart from a really good Chrono catching free, but it feels like the Chrono has been a lot of the initiation, and Ace has been kind of the follow-up initiation, and it feels like it almost has to be the other way around. But with the Mask of Madness, it's...
I guess there's kind of a few ways to do it. One is you focus Misery instead, and you just Doom Misery, because the Doom on the Slark doesn't really ensure the kill, per se. It just ensures that Loda is not going to be able to, like, do anything for the fight except for auto attack. But the problem with that is that once you go on him, you run the risk of getting globaled, and then your follow-up is definitely screwed. And then you don't have any way of actually finishing the job, which can be a problem because you have to worry about like Forge Spirits, Necrobook 3, duels, Mystic Flare, all that stuff. So if you go for Misery, it actually lets all your other heroes get the big AoE teamfight ultis off.
I don't see you hitting Misery though. He should be standing, you know, like
Far
this
away.
distance back from
I'm
the
not
team
saying
fights.
it's easy.
Yeah,
I'm just saying like that's the best case scenario. Because if you do Misery, then the Sphere and the Ravage can be on whoever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. As long as you're able to secure the kills.
Yeah, because if you're able to get a good Ravage and then follow up with a Sphere, fantastic. But you can still pop a BKB though and actually get rid of the global.
I guess that means the Tidehunter has to go first now, then, right?
Yeah, that's what I think as well. It's like Tidehunter goes first, hit a Ravage, you get global, you BKB, you still jump, you stick a Chrono down, you go ham. And hopefully you kill somebody before, you know, the counter initiations. And if the global is actually used after the Ravage, and you then pop a BKB to fight, you could actually stick up a Death Ward, and the Death Ward can just go through people in the Chrono.
This push is really fast,
yeah.
man. Fnatic need to get back. This is an insane amount of damage. Ryze is going to come in, looking for a Sphere. Actually hits on
free.
3. Misery's
The global's
outside.
gonna come in,
the
though.
global, comes
There
in.
it is
There's
from
not
Death
going to be
Ward.
any follow-up whatsoever. Very beautifully timed by Misery. They don't even get a kill.
But they got
Bulldog
Ravage.
wants to go in. The Mystic Player is going to be dropped here. BKB pop by Ryze. Ravage comes out.
doesn't matter.
Really only hits on a few.
Go.
Not much damage coming out. He actually refreshes and goes for a second. Hani comes in with the Chakram. 8-Mother taking a little bit of damage here, but he's going to invoke the Ghost Walk, and there is no detection at all. He's going to be more than fine. Misery getting chased now by Hani. Silence going to come out. BKB popped by him. Chakram not going to make contact. One more auto attack, or at the very least, maybe one more Timber Chain. No, the heal almost keeping him through all that, but not quite. And they committed a double Ravage and a Sphere for a Silencer kill. And Bulldog's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to go ham here. Sunstrike comes out, Cold Snap lines it up. Very nicely done by 8-Mother. Loda comes in as well. He's got another pounce in a few seconds. Ryze staying a little bit too long here. Can't seem to dodge the pounce because of the Scotty slow. Throws out a Panic Doom. That's going to be a double for Loda. Looks like they want a little bit more. Bulldog blinks forward. Went for the duel, actually, but Ace a little bit too quick. And like you said, this is Rax.
Yeah, I actually think I don't know if we were right, but I actually think, initiating with the Tide and then BKBing off the global silence. Because if you get if that was a Tide initiation, Ravage on 3.
Yeah, it would have been so easy to follow.
That would have just been like, you have to
And
global.
Misery was really close to the Sphere as well. So I think a Ravage actually would have ended up hitting him.
But, you know, Fnatic, we'll see what they can bring into the later stage of the game, but already Alliance showing that dominance with their team fight. And here we go, got a Chrono. It's going to hit onto 2, and this should be a kill. Nice and easy. They're going to get 8-Mother. They're going to get Aki as well. And like that Chrono was used earlier. He doesn't have Ags now.
No, it's still only a 90-second cooldown.
Okay.
It's really, really fast.
Yeah. And Global won't be available for a little bit. But they get 2 on the back end of this, but they lose Rax. They lose tier 2 mid. There's a ward in their base. And Roshan is up, and Loda's running around with a double damage with his Skadi as well. So
the other thing, too, is that whole engagement is like Alliance are able to get such good warding up because of that pressure. I mean, they have a ward in the base. They have high ground wards everywhere inside of the woods. They know exactly where everyone is, and Roshan's alive. And they know that right now Fnatic are not prioritizing Rosh.
How are the supports like? What's Crit's gold like? He's got a smoke. Yeah, he's got his Ag, so he would love a gem, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but the global totally screws him. Like, if Misery globals the way that he did last fight, I don't see how they can win if they initiate with a Ryze. I don't think he can go first. It's impossible for him to go in and have the Tide get any meaningful ulti off.
It's going to be very hard as well to kill Loda. I almost feel like you need him in a Chrono, and then you actually have to doom him while he's in the Chrono. And then, he's tanky as hell, man.
Yeah.
He's very catchable, but
that's why I don't want to. I don't feel like using the Doom for the damage is really that useful here. You just want to use the Doom to stop the Silencer, if you can.
I don't think you can. Like I have a lot of people complaining to me about it online.
You can just sit in the base and
can't
just
stop
hit your
the
ulti,
Silencer. No, but Alliance definitely have a game plan here, and I think it's for Fnatic to adapt. And they have smoked up, and Loda's just hanging out on the tree line. Sunstrike comes out, Arise, and they're going to go in with Hani. They actually know Loda's there. He's just going to pounce away, and Global comes out, and they should back off from this, and then maybe reinitiate in a little bitty.
Arise actually can't even Sphere after that, unless he gets Arcane booted. Like, he went in with a leap.
They have Arcanes on Hani.
And lost all his mana, basically. Yeah. It's going to be next to impossible, I think, to do anything if Misery is able to get to his refresher. And he's up to 2,400 gold, so I don't know.
I mean, they're going to force the fight now, Fnatic. It almost feels like they should. Like, they've got the mana back up. Maybe there's a regen, you know, I'm not sure what Arise picked up. But I feel like they should just go. Like, Global's down. Just like we're going to take a tower or something.
Yeah, but they have to actually smoke if they're going to try to go for something.
Well, could they not force Roche? I mean, you don't have AoE. You don't have like an RP or lockdown. If you go to Roche pit after Global was down and the team initiate, you've got double fucking Ravage. Like, you shouldn't be losing that fight. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, the other thing is, too, is you have to actually do ward. And I'm pretty sure that you can clearly hear Studio B right now. They're just like losing
they
their
are
shit
the loud studio.
over losing the, or whatever the heck is happening over there. But, I mean, I agree with you that like a team fight around the pit is probably the most advantageous position you can fight as Fnatic, but you have to make sure that you have vision, you deward everything.
I think you just drop one ward and you YOLO at this stage of the game. It's like Global was blown and you can make something happen. It's like if Loda wants to come in, you're going to get Ravage, you're going to get Chrono. I mean, okay, I think Loda has his BKB, so you're not going to get Ravage necessarily, but you can still get Chrono. And that's effectively enough to let the BKB wear out, and then double Ravage can come in afterwards. And they're stacking the Ancients pretty heavily here, and they're actually going to move into the Alliance jungle looking for a kill. We've got a blink on our Doom. We'll see if Ryze can get an initiation. Nope, they're going to meet some Forged Spirits, which were not welcomed, apparently, by Fnatic, and get blown up. And Loda's all the way over the other side of the map. Tier 2 tower near the Roshan pit is still available here for Alliance, so it's kind of scary to actually go for it just because, you know, the easy TPs and rotations, but they're not achieving much at all. You know, Hani's farming off by himself because, you know, the other four members play for Fnatic.
And now he's actually going to get dueled here. Bulldog does quite a bit of damage. Sunstrike going to come through, but it misses. It didn't hit Hani. Oh, dear. I don't know if it would have killed him, actually, but still.
What did he get, Hani? Afterwards, he got BKB, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and he got bots.
I think he had to put the Sunstrike in a really weird position because the creep wave was there, and he was trying to, like, not split the Sunstrike damage with the rest of the creeps, so it missed. I mean, either way, I don't think they would have gotten that. That was a pretty optimistic duel. If Bulldog had, like, one more damage item, I think it would have been enough. And he's got 4,500
gold.
gold.
You just, like, it's also, like, it's just so worth going for, though, because you can get, like, super lucky, can't you, with...
if you have that many creeps hitting you, yeah.
Moment of Courage. There's no internal cooldown on Moment of Courage, right? Or is there? I'm asking you all the hard questions today.
I don't actually think there is.
No.
If there is, it's really short.
0.9. Thanks, Weppers.
Oh, yeah.
Weppers
0.9. It actually says it on the tooltip. Who would have thought?
Does it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. When attacked.
It's at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, at the bottom, 0.9.
Who would have thought? Oh, Sphere. Onto Loda. Wow, what a dark shadow dance timing. That was really nice. And the global sounds follow it up. The Tidehunter can't Ravage right now. Loda, he gets doomed. 4-step away by his teammates. They cannot let him recover. This is just going to go awful. Bulldog gets the duel off. Ravage comes through. Loda actually going to be dropping here. A-Mother pops his BKB. Bulldog gets the kill on Hani in the meantime, but he does end up dying to crit. The Death Ward damage is real. Buyback coming out from Loda ends up being a 2-for-1, forcing the buyout from the Slark. Yeah. More than okay if you're Fnatic.
I would be so happy with that. You actually killed the Slark, you got one Ravage off, you can refresh the other, which he just did, and he's got the mana pool for his second one. And then you can just farm up your Ancient stack. And Arise is actually getting pretty scary, and there's no guarantee. Like it's very, like, even if we were like saying, okay, you need to initiate this way, it's like if you actually just get a good Chrono and you now have the damage that the Void's getting, it's okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter now. Like, I think once you've got your Mjolnir and you maybe go for an additional item, whether it be, you know, Daedalus or MKB, it doesn't matter with your Chrono, as long as no one can stop you through your BKB from killing your target. So maybe we're talking, we mentioned Alliance is, you know, very hard to get through on a team fight, but okay, scaling into the late game, you know, that Void factor could always be a big deal.
Well, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, is that Void is one of those heroes that he goes like really scary, then not so scary for a while because you had to go BKB, then really scary again because you get like a fourth item or a third item, you know, that just increases your damage to a point where you can solo kill and Rise.
There's no global,
he gets
so
the Chrono off, pops the BKB. 8-Mother going to just die inside of this. Nothing he can do at all. Another buyback. This time it's going to be from 8-Mother. They really do not want to give up this Roshan. Loda goes in, trying to force out a Ravage, pops the BKB, but he gets doomed. Ravage comes out, really only hits on Ake. Misery still no global for about 20 seconds. Ake going to be dropping here. Bulldog kills Tidehunter in the meantime. Now Rise chasing down Loda with the help of Hani. 8-Mother alive once again. Pops the Alacrity. Cold Snap on the Hani. Loda, he's going to get healed up here by Press the Attack. Arise going to town on Misery with Rise as well. And right now, it's just a 2-for-2 exchange. Buyback on one of the teams. Rise trying to get the heck out of here. It's not going to be able
Do they
to
jump
do
into
so.
the pit and just go for a quick Roche?
Yeah, they can easily kill it now.
Yeah, nicely done. I actually think Fnatic could have maybe forced Roche because they had two big ultimates.
Actually, that was a 3-for-2 because
there was a buyback on.
Mother bought back, yeah.
I actually think they maybe didn't need to just go for clean picks. They could have actually gone for Roche and forced the fight with Chrono and also Ravage.
Dude, look at how much damage Bulldog has. Holy crap. He hits so hard.
150.
Full AC.
But the thing that really didn't go well for Fnatic that team fight was the Death Ward. Wasn't cancelled, just was out of place.
Swing
Like the
and a miss.
the Death Ward went down and it hit like Admiral Bulldog twice. And then by the time he got hit twice, Admiral Bulldog already won his duel and just ran off. And then he went back and actually ended up helping out heal Loader. And they weren't able to lock down Loader. That BKB and the damage he was able to put out onto the Tide, forced an early Ravage. So, okay initiation. Loader waited in the wings. Good counter initiation and ends up in Alliance's favor. And we had lots of items on the courier.
And there's the Aghanims actually on Doom, which helps a lot actually for killing Loda. Like before, Doom is like, it's not too bad. They still manage to kill him even without it, but you can see how hard they have to commit to actually chasing him down. Because if you fog for even like 2 seconds, you get such a lead on the heroes that are trying to kill you. But we talked a lot about the Void and what Rise is going to be able to bring to Fnatic, but Bulldog to me is almost a bigger deal. Because now that his damage is so high, he has full Assault Cuirass stun, he can duel and almost solo kill. He doesn't necessarily need like...
I think he's a very doomable target now, though.
Yeah, it could be. Misery actually going to get picked here by Rise, dropping his Sphere on the Silencer, which I think is more than worth it. You know that he's close to buying his Refresher, and if you force him to buy back, that leaves you a lot of time to where you don't have to worry about having to buy a secondary item just to remove silences. You definitely don't want to get to that stage. It's like a roller coaster of effectiveness, this game. It's like heroes get really strong, then not so strong, then really strong again. I don't know. It's kind of cool, though.
It's very hard to keep up with in terms of, like, not who you're expecting to win the fight.
Yeah.
And this is the late game effect of any match in pro games. It comes down to some just, like, one big team fight, and each of them are going to try and earn their advantage. And you can see 0 XP in difference, but slightly in favor of Alliance on the gold. And Loader, I don't know where I want him to go. Items like maybe a Butterfly, maybe just a Abyssal, and just like destroy anybody. And we just lost 5,000 gold on a courier.
Wow.
Which was the Aghanims?
Wow,
no,
that's a lot of gold.
Was that the Ags?
They lost a lot more than just an Ags, because an Ags is only 4,200 gold in its entirety.
Yeah, but I think it was the Ags, because Doom doesn't have his Ags. Yeah, but just click Doom, because if he has no Ags,
no, he
does have it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, he finished it a while ago, so there's no way it was that, but...
Maybe it was something for the Void after getting his... Yeah, it was Daedalus. I think it was Daedalus and something else. Oh, maybe
Shivas
something for the Shivas.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean,
Just slows down the game a little bit.
That's a lot of money to lose for like 3 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think they can still just hold their base. I mean, they're up against an Aegis that they're probably going to want to use, but I think this is still too scary to jump into. Yeah, and the BKB, if you get a BKB on the Ace, that would be really nice for him.
The thing that's actually scary is you have you have a couple wards, but they're all aggressive wards, and you can't see your own side of the map, and you're stuck inside your base. And because you can't see anything on Alliance's side because they're not there, like you can't see them.
I mean, you don't want to fight anyway with the Aegis. So as long as you sit in base, I don't think you're losing out on too much.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But it's just more farm that Alliance are going to be able to get. And is Misery going all in here? He is. He actually bought the Refresher or Breathspeed, so he no longer has buyback.
Ah, who cares about that? You just press your ulti. And if you're dead, you're dead.
Spoken like a true Silencer player. Who cares? Just hit R.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, if you're dead, buying back without ulti doesn't affect anything. And if you play, you won't get caught in, a Chrono. And his positioning's been pretty good for the most of this game.
Yeah.
Like, he's, I don't have to, if I played a Silencer versus that pro team, I'd just get stomped, right? So it's like, he's making the Silencer bring something good to the table.
Yeah, they're even prioritizing his farm. He's about 80-something gold away from having his item completed. But But this has actually been a really close series so far. Both games
Yeah,
have
I'm
been
impressed. Yeah.
really, really back and forth.
I feel that Hani kind of plays a little bit by himself often. Maybe that's just because he was played Ember last time and now he's got Timbersaw. But this is, you know, even when he was bottom and he got jeweled and got away, I was like, do you need to be there? Is it good? Is it bad? Not sure. It's like there was no global.
I think he's the kind of player who really likes being able to, like, he favors, I want to say, lane equilibrium, like pushing lanes all the time. Like, I don't think he really likes ever seeing a lane on his side of the map.
I've seen him play Nature Prophet in pub games, actually. I was playing against him, or with him one game when he was Nature's Prophet a long time ago, and he was really good in just controlling the game. You know, in pub games, these pro gamers are exceptional. So I don't think they know that there is a second global. That there's a refresher on.
They've got to have some
Misery.
idea.
Yeah, but I like they can expect it, but they don't know. And as long as Misery doesn't show, it's going to be a surprise. Now, BKB is finished, and also the data list. So, does it matter? It depends who gets caught in the ulti, because the right-click damage of your Void it needs to get a kill. You ain't going to be able to get off your Doom.
The Void will get a kill, though. Like, before, the Tide had to initiate because you had to be able to get a better sphere. But now, if the sphere lands and you BKB, it's irrelevant of whether or not you get globaled, because your damage is so high that your target will die, no matter what.
But it's like, how good is it? How good is it going to be? Oh, they're actually circling out. That was a Rise.
They might be able to catch
the
Misery.
Ancients.
Oh, if he walked a little bit farther, his smoke would have broke. I mean, there's actually a ward from Alliance there, too, so it'll see them if the smoke actually dissipates. And might not see them.
They're going to break smoke. Oh, they see him now. Aaron Bulldog pretty close to a Rise.
Bulldog has blink up. Oh, Rise whiffs the sphere.
Hey,
the global
they
comes
whiffed
out
the global.
too.
They have two. It's fine.
Oh, no, they're going to be able to kill a Rise. That's an Abyssal Blade. Doom's it actually tries to be cast, but doesn't get cast at all because the Shadow Dance was a little bit too fast. Hani totally out of mana right now. Alliance looking like they're going to take this quite handily. They're going to force a Ravage out of Ace, but there is no follow-up at all on the side of Fnatic. They're going to lose the Tidehunter and the Witch Doctor together. That's 3 down. The Shadow Dance timing from Loda was so good. Like, the Doom actually had to be used on another target because he tried to Doom Loda, but Loda just Shadow Danced like mid-animation. Really, really nicely done.
Quite important.
I mean, to be fair, if the Doom had gone off on Loda, he has almost 3,000 HP. And the fight was already going extremely well because the
That's what I said, yeah, you need to catch Loda in a sphere. And
well, you got to catch somebody.
Yeah, okay.
You can't just hit no one. But they're going to lose a second set of racks for this one. And,
yeah, this is a good game.
The glyph is up, but unfortunately,
no buyback.
No buybacks.
On Void after the dataless.
That's got to be frustrating though, because they could have very easily won a fight.
Oh yeah.
It's just when you get so late into the game that the initiation is almost all that matters, and they're going to find another duel win there. Bulldog securing a little bit more damage, now hitting for almost 400. But it was a hard-fought battle, man. I wouldn't say that Alliance necessarily had an easy time with this game at all. And I still feel that Fnatic...
Alliance always seem to have the game plan.
Yeah.
That's the difference that I see between these two. It's like Alliance are like, we're doing this and we're getting these items and then we're doing this. And if they want to fight, we can fight them. And even though they're looking to chase for kills onto Misery, Loda's going to come in and Ace will be picked up very quickly. And the BKBs negate completely the Ravage, and Misery is just going to like face the wall, get killed, but then that'll come back. And there's a Rise. This is what he wanted to do. Now, if he had a Doom on that at the same time, like afterwards, that's a dead Loda.
You can see the potential that Fnatic
That's what I felt that they needed to do, because you just like BKB off, Doom Loda, kill him. Loda is so much of their damage, and I think you can fight through the LC. GG, yeah. Oh. Yeah, but Alliance seem to have a game plan where they're just like, these are the items, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. And Fnatic were like, okay, Global was wasted, what do we do? Oh, push out the way. And I'm like, well, like Roshan is really available, and actually they went for a fight, but they just didn't get the good chronos. And it's like you have to give a lot of credit to Alliance as well. It's not necessarily always the player that doesn't get the good chronos. It's the team that stops chronos from being good.
Yeah.
You know, like when they started getting good chronos in the early game, there's like 3-man chrono, but you know, it was just a BKB Void. It wasn't like so scary. And then later on, they were like, oh, by the way, there's a Mjolnir and a Daedalus. Don't get chronoed. And then it was only like a 1-man chrono, if anything, and sometimes nothing.
Yeah.
So,
well,
GG.
I think going into the third game, I mean, what I like about what Fnatic did is that their styles actually differed pretty heavily, I would say, between the first and the second game. And both games, they showed that they can at least trade punches. You know, it wasn't like a one-sided stomp or anything like that. It's just like you said, maybe Alliance had a bit of a better plan.
I think they have slightly better drafts as well.
Yeah, Misery drafting, and I'm sure everyone has their input. Like, it's not just him.
Yeah, but I think at the end, like always, the last picks for Alliance take advantage just a little bit.
Yeah. They last picked Invoker this game, right?
I think they last pick Silencer.
No, they last picked Silencer, yeah. Fourth pick was Invoker.
But it takes advantage of the situation. And then
I think the combo between actually the LC and the Skywrath is what actually bought them the time in the game to even allow themselves to, have... The Silencer was obviously important for some fights. Misery had really good globals this game. There was one, I think, that he did a little bit too late, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that's obviously really good, but just that combo of like guaranteeing that your off-lane hero who normally wouldn't get much just gets free duels all the time. He had plus 30 damage in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but that was Ake, right? That was Skywrath, really.
Ake and Bulldog.
Yeah.
So.
It wasn't like... I think Misery could have actually really helped Admiral Bulldog win that off lane in a big way, just by starving out the enemy team. Yeah. So even if the Doom was rotating in, you'd be like, who cares? Because your Timber can't do anything. And you can put the Timber in that situation. Like, it's not hard. It's like if you make him just cast the Timber chains and you make him, it still costs mana and it's much more efficient to trade that way, especially when you've got two clarities on you for his starting items. But it was interesting. I still feel it's the drafts and they have a better game plan, but I definitely think Fnatic should be able to pick up a win. Not sure if they will.
They're about to.
They can.
They had a really good start this game as well.
Yeah, but that's the other thing we mentioned. The starts.
They're not really that important.
They kind of disappear when the team fights happen.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't get ahead and you don't win just in that kind of 15, 20 minutes because of how it swings.
Well, I guess that means we're going to be going to a short break before we have the third of these best of ones on the way.
Yes.
So everybody, thanks for joining us and stay tuned for the third game between Alliance and Fnatic.